former ADCC champion. Mackenzie, we talked to Zhang Weili yesterday. She's still deciding whether strawweight or flyweight. I go, what do you prefer? She says she wants to move up. So does that mean, are you maybe in line to be one of the two ladies that can fight for a vacant? Would you be open to that?
100%. That's kind of like what has been talked about, you know, with the managers and the idea, coaches and things like that. My last fight was in January, and I'm waiting until now to get a fight, basically because we're depending on if Weili's gonna decide what she's gonna do. Right. So I'm like, let's go, Weili, you know, you got your belts, make your decision.
You're healthy and ready to go.
Yeah, you know, so I'm training, I want to get training so I can figure out what I'm going to train for. But yeah, I'm ready to fight, and I hope she goes up. Even before I don't know if it would vacate the division, if she would just go and come back down. But I want to see her fight Valentina either way. But on a personal level, I would love if she went up and they vacated and I would like to fight Virna Jandiroba. I beat her.
That was my next question. Yeah, you beat her about 5 years ago, right?
Yes. And
but she's deserving.
She for me, if Weili stays at strawweight, she's next in line to fight for the belt, you know. So I would kind of be like second place, you know. So for me, I think me and her would be the fight for the belt. We're both grapplers, so since Weili was such a striker, Joanna was such a striker, and they were so dominant in the division, I think it would be really refreshing, and it would kind of, you know, mix up the strawweight division and have some grapplers as the champion.
Had part of you hoped to fight Weili though, just because she became such a legend over the past few years?
Yeah. No, I would love to fight Weili, but not right now. I'm not there yet, you know. I saw her fight Tatiana, you know. I thought Tatiana took her down in the first round. Held in there, you know, all 5 rounds. I think just Tatiana didn't have enough experience. She had, I think, maybe 10 fights in her career, and when undefeated, she never really got pushed through the hard times, you know. So I feel like I could do good with Weili compared to how Tatiana did with her. But on a personal level, I don't think I'm ready for Weili right now. But if I was to
wow, you're keeping it real today. All right,
yeah,
that's honest, yeah.
But if I was to fight Virna, get the belt, and then Weili comes back down, I think that would give me enough time to be ready to welcome her back to the game.
So you're still saying you're still progressing, you're still getting better, there's still work to do?
100%.
Okay. Now, in Brazil, right? That's your first choice if you were to fight for a vacant title? I think you fighting in Brazil would be astronomical. I've always said, I always thought you'd be one of the big stars for the UFC if you made it to the top.
Yeah, I mean, I always loved fighting in Brazil. I think if it was me and Virna, both Brazilians, fighting in Brazil would go crazy, you know? Either way, they would be happy. So yeah, for me, fighting in Brazil was always my favorite. Just the crowd, everyone, you know, my family and everything. So yeah, hopefully they give us that. I think UFC's come back to Brazil in November. So.
With a pay-per-view or fight night?
Pay-per-view.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well then, that's the target. Wow, okay, that's kind of like breaking news for me at least.
I think it's November or October or December.
Do you think you could be one of the top pay-per-view stars if you become a world champion?
I think so. I mean, I'm not a trash talker, you know, but, you know.
So you have the charisma.
Yeah, and I mean, just I'm a mom, and I think I touch a lot of people can identify with me, you know, I'm very down to earth, and you know, I live life like everyone else. So.
I know your dad, Megaton, was one of the top grapplers in the world, so I'm sure there was inspiration through him. But were there any other Brazilian fighters that inspired you to get into mixed martial arts?
Royce Gracie. You know, he was kind of like one of my biggest influences that made me decide to go into MMA. I thought, okay, I'm going to go into MMA. But how did UFC start? UFC 1, Royce Gracie started with jiu-jitsu, you know? So that gave me courage to okay, he can do it, you know? They don't have a woman's jiu-jitsu representative in the UFC and MMA. So I really felt myself with more courage to do it, and I took on that responsibility to represent jiu-jitsu for the woman in MMA. And then Charlie's Oliveira, you know, just seeing him.
Right.
He's my biggest just trying to catch him, you know. He has the most submissions, most bonuses. So I'm just trying to I want to be like him. You know, I know his career until he got
Okay, so as long as Weili goes up, it sounds like you versus Virna is pretty close. All right, well that's great news, and I think that's what everyone wanted to know. I think you deserve it. So thank you for the time on MMA Junkie Radio. I hope you enjoy the UFC Fan Expo.
Yeah, so